Hello and welcome to today's European SharePoint, Office 365 and Azure Community webinar, the sixth of a series of 8 webinars for SharePoint Week. My name is Laura and I'm delighted to be joined by Sari Sohinoya, who will present the topic Mastering the Art of SharePoint. Say goodbye to content duplication with these proven methods for displaying information across sites. Remember to join in on the conversation about today's webinar and more on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @EuropeanSP and our hashtag is #ESPC23. Don't forget to check out the Resource Centre. This is updated daily with the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars and how-to videos. Simply visit sharepointeurope.com and click the Content tab at the top. Continue your learning by joining us for our next webinar that's also part of SharePoint Week, Transforming SharePoint Forms with SPFX, How to Start, which takes place later on today, Wednesday, the 10th of May, from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. CEST. You can find out more information at sharepointeurope.com/SharePoint-week. The ESPC 23 programme is now available. The programme has the most relevant topics being presented by experienced and exciting speakers in the Microsoft 365 and Azure space. Across 4 days, there will be over 100 world-class speakers, over 120 sessions, great networking, great connections, wonderful parties, wonderful food, and a beautiful and accessible capital city. Prepare to hear the very latest on Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Viva, Copilot, Search, AI, DevOps, SPFX, and not forgetting the all-important Azure and security sessions. Further sessions will be added to the programme throughout the year, so we can ensure that we have the latest and most relevant sessions post-Ignite 2023. We hope you find something on this programme that could have a positive impact on your learning, on your connections, on your career, on your customers, whatever it may be. Be sure to get your tickets now and lock in the best deal possible. So you can visit sharepointeurope.com/conference/schedule/2023 to view the full programme. The early bird sale for this year's European Power Platform Conference is almost over. We are now sold out of 3-day tickets for the European Power Platform Conference 2023, but you can still get your hands on some 2-day tickets while they're still available. The European Power Platform Conference dives into Microsoft's Power Platform stack, and it provides a host of professional development opportunities, including 3 inspirational keynotes, 6 expert full-day tutorials, and over 85 specialist sessions. These sessions are delivered by global Power Platform experts and Microsoft corporate and community leaders. You can gain expert insight and hear the latest innovations across the whole Power Platform, including Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and Power Pages. So be sure to visit sharepointeurope.com/European-Power-Platform-Conference-pricing. You can see the link there on the screen. And you can grab your tickets while they're still available at this amazing price. After the webinar, we will have a questions and answers session. So type any question that you might have into the questions window. Questions will be selected and answered as they come in. So Sari has kindly offered to answer some questions throughout her presentation and demos, and we will also leave some time at the end for some questions. This webinar will also be recorded and added to the Resource Centre, where you will be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass over to our webinar presenter today, Sari. Hello, Sari.
Hello, Laura. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone and welcome on from my behalf as well. I noticed when Laura started to talk about my topic, it's a really mouthful, but don't let it get you. It's going to be okay. I have plenty of demos today, so not just slides. And if you want to ask questions, like Laura said, you can shoot them in the chat and in the QA section, and we'll take them as they come or after the webinar, depending on a bit on the question. So now you should see my presentation. Nope.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
Good. That's great. So let's get started then. Like Laura presented me, my name is Sari Soinoja, and I work as a senior modern work consultant at Melt Lake in Finland. And the ones of you who don't know, Finland is a small country here in northern part of Europe, and we are about to win the Eurovision Song Contest this year. So let's all vote up for Kääriä to win. It's going to be an amazing event this Saturday. So in case you have any questions, please go and ask. And in case you are left to wonder something, you can always contact me in the social media platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. And occasionally I'm available in Teams as well. So let's get to the topic of today about content, avoiding to duplicate content in SharePoint, basically. And mainly my examples are from the intranets, but this is also that can be used in different types of team sites as well. So why can I just create content there? Create it wherever I want and just duplicate it if I need to. And what is the benefit of avoiding the duplication of content? Please just don't. There are a couple of problems it creates if you just keep on duplicating content all around your M365 environment. First of all, it's hard for you to maintain. So if you have more than just one version of a content page or a document, you need to keep them all up to date. And in the worst scenario, you might need to just to remember where they all are and go to each and every place and then update the document or the page, and then you just generate more work for yourself. So you probably want to avoid that and let yourself a bit easier. There are also duplicated content creates also a trust issue for your users. So when they search for something and they get multiple results of the same topic, they start to wonder if which of these search results are actually the latest information of that topic. And also you get too many search results on the same topic. So the users, your users don't know which one to trust, they don't know which one to choose, and they end up wasting their time navigating on different places after different search results, and they cannot trust the information if that is the actual latest one. And you don't want to do that to your end users. You don't want to confuse them. Also, for example, when it comes to news, the feeds may show these duplicates. So if you create a news post and create it again in another site, those both posts can be visible then in a certain news feed. And if your feeds are already busy and getting a lot of new information all the time, a doubled news post in the feed will take space from another important information, and you probably don't want to do that either for your end users, since space is limited and you probably would have a lot of feeds there anyway. So what can we do? Which kind of options there are to avoid content duplication? The following examples are coming from recent SharePoint intranet projects that I have had. So within the past couple of years, and these are the current solutions for them. There are a couple of out-of-the-box ones, and we also slide into a bit into PMP search, so there's a tad of customization options there available as well. So let's get to the first example. I want to show my news post on another site. This is very typical. You have a large organization and you create plenty of news in the different sites of your intranet. And sometimes, especially if you have created your intranet in a decent way and it's not following your organization hierarchy, you may end up in a situation that a news post from a topic would be interesting for another topic, or for example, business or function or whatever you have in your organization as well. So you want to lift up one news post from site A to a site B in your intranet. There are a couple of options how you can do this. So there's the news link option, and there's the possibility to organize news. And let me show you how. So I will switch to the demo, and I hope you can see my demo now, since the GoToWebinar doesn't really indicate which am I showing, but I trust it's working. So you should be all seeing now this purple colored demo environment.
Yeah, that looks good, Sari.
Good. Sorry about that. Here we go. So this is our demo environment. There might be good content, there might be a bit unfinished content, but don't let that get to you. So how to create news links first. News link is another option in addition to your normal news posts. So if you show a news post here or create a news post from here, you might have noticed that there's also a news link option available. And these work in a similar way. They create, well, let me show you. I want to create a new news link about a blog post that my colleague has written. So I go to the ways of digital work and create the news link from there. So here we go, news link, and it opens a panel here. And the only thing you can do here is to paste that URL of the link. So I have it ready already here. I just copy the URL of the blog post. So basically this is just a blog post posted in our website, completely out of SharePoint, nothing unordinary there. But I want to show this in my intranet. So I paste there, creating that news link. And I can see it will take the title of the blog and the description of the blog and even the picture of the blog, and I'm happy with that one. It's now created on my Ways of Digital Work site. It will take a while, and in the background, it will create it as a news page, or actually repost page in the site pages library. So, and since this page doesn't have any feed, I will go back to our front page and see if it has been lifted here. Here it is. Nope, that's not that one. Actually, I need to check out if this feed is showing me showing me news from that site. So all sites in the hub, it should be there. Sometimes the SharePoint news feed is a bit slow and it might need for me to refresh the site for the news link to be visible there. And here it is. So I've created a news link, created on the Ways of Digital Work site. And now I want to show it in another place as well. Yes. that example was from a news link created from a post outside your intranet, but you can do that also similarly to posts inside or within your intranet. So in case you want to show use the news link feature for a news post that is already created in the SharePoint, that is fine. It's working in the same way as this outside news post. And I created this now from an outside source to show you something else soon as well. So now we go to our IT support site, and they have a feed as well, but it's not showing a nice demo effect. My site isn't loading, so I'll just try to refresh it, and here we go. Yes, so this feed is giving me the latest news on ICT. So what I would like to do is to show that news post, that blog post, or another news post from that same site, so Ways of Digital Work. So I can just grab a news post from there, or I can again add a new news link from here, paste the link here, and show it right here on this feed, because this feed is taking all the news from this site. And since the news link is posted in the site pages library, so this was the one that I originally created the news post link. And if we go to the site pages library, this is the quick way of going there, just typing the site pages in the URL. I can see that here it is. Here's the blog that I just created, and it's lacking a couple of metadata since it's created as a news link and it doesn't by default ask for any metadata. If I would need to add metadata here, I could just do it by editing the information of this news link, or basically do that in the grid mode. So again, just taking here's another news post from this site, Ways of Digital Work. I could just take the URL, go to the IT support, create it as a news link, and it should be visible there. It takes the picture, the title, the description of the intranet news post that I have, and if I post it, it creates just a page of that news post here. It should be soonish visible here. And then when I click the actual news link post that I just created, for example here, this one, it will take me to the original source. So meaning in this case outside my intranet to a website, or in the another example I created, it will take me to the original post of that news piece. So that is the way of creating a news link. It will always take you to the original news post. But then if you want to organize the news, that's another option for you to do it. So if I go back to the IT support, please. Here we go. So I have the option of organizing this news feed that I have here. So I take the page on the edit mode and I edit the web part. As you can see, it's a standard newsfeed, nothing special there. The only thing that we have been doing is to filter the news based on the page properties. So I would like to show all the news that have the page category ICT news visible in this feed. But on this special occasion, I would like to show another news post here as well. This one that has been created in the Ways of Digital Work site, because this is kind of related to the IT support side as well. But since this news post hasn't got any metadata that would take it automatically in this news feed, I can add it here manually. So here we have, below of the panel, we have the organize section. And it says plus select news to organize. So if I just click here, I get a panel open. And by default, these news visible here are collected from this site. But if I would show news posts from another site, for example, this one, loads of new SharePoint announcements, I just start to type the name, so loads. And I can see it here, and now it's there as a double news post because I just created that as a news link. So again, I would need to define which way I'm actually going to use, because otherwise I'm creating double content. And for me, or for your basic content editor, it might be difficult to know which one to use. So maybe organized news would be a better option for you to show news posts in another place than where they were created. But this one I can see from the URL or the site name of the news post that this is the original one. So I will take this and drag it to be on the second place of this news feed. So the first place is for automatic feed. So basically showing all the latest news on this site where this feed is, or whatever the feed filter is. If it's showing news from this site only, or from loads of other sites as well. And I want my news that I lift here to be on the second place for some reason. And then when I'm ready, I just click the X. And I can already see it's lifted here, and from news order, I can see that it's here on the second place. If I would like to take it to the first place, I can do it as well. So I can just drag it, and then when I republish the page, it's there. So what I did is that I searched for the news from created in another site and lifted it up to this site's news feed. The thing is that this organizing the news, it's staying there as long as I manually remove it. So basically the second and the third and the fourth place, because this feed is showing 4 news at a time. So the rest of them will be updating automatically. So getting new news posts as they come, as they are published here on the IT support site. But this one stays as long as I let it be there. And when I'm done with it, when I'm sure that my end users have read it and that everybody who needs to see it has seen it, based on, I don't know, gut feeling, I go back to edit the page, edit the web part settings, and just remove it manually by clicking the X here. And then it will automatically continue showing the automatic feed. So basically the newest posts of this site first that meet the other metadata needs. Then I just republish it, and now the feed is back to showing the lonely news post of some VS things happening in our IT support demo. Okay, so a summary on the differences between these two features. So when you create a news link, it is created from the plus new button, and in the background, it creates a site. But if you want to organize the news and create a new news post in a certain feed, it's only added to the feed from the by editing the web part settings, and it's just there. It's nowhere else, only in the feed. So as comparison to the news link that is actually created as a site, this repost page in the site pages library. So these are the two main differences. Then you may need to, if your feed is very complicated, you may need to use metadata, give the news link metadata for it to be visible in certain feeds. If your news feed is, for example, filtering the results by metadata.
Sorry, there's just a question in here. So
Okay,
someone is
go
asking,
ahead.
would deleting the original source news link delete all the references in all other sites?
If you delete the original news link, would it delete all the references in every site? Yes. So basically, let's see. I created the news link here on the site pages library. It is this one, loads of new SharePoint announcements. If I click here, it will open it up as the news link page here. You can see it's a bit different than a normal news post. This is the repost page of a news link. So if I just delete this one, it doesn't do anything for the original post, but it's just deleted from this site pages library. If you would have used, because usually you create the news link on a certain page, you probably don't create multiple of them, but if you do, those are each their own separate posts, so you need to basically delete them all. And if you give this news link some metadata here, and it's visible in several feeds, and if you end up deleting this news link page here, it will disappear, of course, from all the feeds. It doesn't do anything for the original news post, but only this news link repost page here.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sari.
Thank you. Yeah. So as said, the news link automatically disappears from the feed when a newer posts are created, or if you for some reason would delete the news link post. But organizing the news, showing a news post there on a feed with the organizing the news feature, it will stay there until you manually click the X and remove it from the feed. And as shown, the news link can lead to any news post within SharePoint, in the intranet, in the team sites if you have news there as well, or it can lead to any website that you have outside SharePoint. But organizing the news feature, with that one, you can only show news published in SharePoint. And that is respecting, of course, the user rights. So you cannot add there any news post that you don't have user rights to. And what you can do, which is a bit of mix of these both. So you first create a news link from an article outside your intranet, outside SharePoint, for example, like I did just there from our website. You create a news link from that one, and then you add that one in the feed by organizing the news feed. So then you can kind of have the best of the both worlds, or in this case, features. But that might be a bit confusing.
Sorry, just another follow-up question. So the same person is asking, what if the original post is deleted?
Then the news link will be deleted as well, or will disappear from the feed as well, and also from the organizing the feed, news feature as well.
Perfect. And then just one other question. Someone is asking, when using the second option, do they also have to add the communication site to the source of the web part settings, or will it automatically be added?
You may need to repeat that.
So they're asking, when they are using the second option, do they have to add the communication site to the source of the web part settings, or will it automatically be added?
It will be automatically added. So the only thing you basically need to do is to find, let me show it again. The only thing you modify is this section. So when you select the news to organize, you can find the news posts from anywhere, all news posted in SharePoint where you have the access rights. So if you can read it, you can find it from here. So let's see, let's find Melko Days. Here we go, posted in our company. And I will just put it right there. And that's the only thing I need to do. So I don't need to do any changes in the news source of this feed. It's visible here. This is the only thing I need to do.
Brilliant, Sari. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was an excellent question. Okay, so those were the main differences between adding news links and organizing the news feature. And I think they both work. With the news link, you kind of create the content again, but since the news links are always pointing to the original source, that's not as bad because in the search, when you search for that news post, it always gives you the original one first, at least. Okay, moving on to the next issue or desire. I need to show text content from another site. What you can do here is to embed a page. This is something that hasn't been always a given in SharePoint, but it's something that I think it's worth mentioning. So, a case example, you have the HR sites basically here. So about benefits available for all for the whole company. So what kind of benefits you have? The phone benefit, you would have some insurances, whatever you offer to your company. But then you might have a situation that your company is multinational and different countries have different benefits. At least if you work in Finland, that might be the case. So we have the people side showing the benefits for the whole company, but then we have the different side called employed in Finland. I'll just open it in a new site, a new tab here. So where we have listed, and this is in Finnish, but you don't need to understand anything. So where we have listed the local benefits. So basically the benefits that are offered only for the Finnish employees. So those are listed here. This site is a bit unfinished yet. My colleague hasn't been able to update it yet, or maybe the benefits are a bit changing all the time. But anyway, we want to list the normal or the local benefits here, but then we want to ease the user's work and show and remind them also about the global benefits that our company provides. So what we have done here is that we have embedded the global benefits page right here on the SharePoint page in a completely another site. And here, as you can see, I can scroll the page. I can even click the sections open, and basically everything that is visible on the page is working as it it is working on the original page. And there is not much you need to do to get this working. So what I have just done, I've used the embed web part. So if I hover over here, you can see it says embed. And if I edit it, the only thing that I need to do is to paste the URL of the original page here. And that's it. SharePoint takes care of the rest. And since it's SharePoint, you are embedding the pages from, it doesn't ask you anything else, or you don't need to, there are no restrictions because it's already a trusted source. If you have tried to embed a website from, from anywhere outside SharePoint, you might have noticed that it's not always working here. It might give you an error that this is not possible because of the settings, but within SharePoint, this is totally okay and totally possible. It automatically resizes to fit the page, so I recommend you to do that. It works fine like that. And this is basically it. So embedding a page from another site to a certain site or to your site makes your user's life easier. You don't need to retype anything, and the users can see already the important information related to the topic on that site. Maybe the only thing you want to confirm is that the sites are, easily distinguishable which site you are embedding here, or which page you are embedding, so that it makes sense to the user that this is okay, this is another SharePoint page embedded here. And you can even type here something like, hey, here you can find all the benefits that our company offers, or whatever your reference is. Easy and simple. Any questions about this one?
Yes, so there's just another question in here. So someone is asking, if I embed a site on a SharePoint page, does it consider the permission from the source site, in brackets, the embedded site?
Yes, it does. So again, totally honoring the user rights. If the user doesn't have the rights to this embedded site, they will probably see you don't have the permissions to see this page. So you may want to be careful there that you are embedding only content that you are sure that the users who are viewing this site where the content is embedded, they have user rights in both places. So basically, this is just a window to the another content, and if the users don't have access through to that original content, the window is closed. You cannot see that. You cannot see through it.
Great, thanks, Sari, for answering that question.
Good, and also the same thing with anything that you embed anywhere. If this original page or the embedded page would be removed, of course, this would then have an error, or the embed web part would stop working. So it doesn't store it anywhere. It's just gone from there. Okay, moving on to the next topic. I want to list pages on a site and the list to be updated or to update automatically. This is quite a common scenario. So you want to list multiple pages on somewhere else, just like helping the navigation between different contents. There are two options that you can use for this one. So first is the highlighted content, and then it's PnP search that you can use as well. So another example that we had some time ago was that we created an intranet with a lot of different locations, and in the travel section, help me with traveling, they wanted to make it easier for the end users to find the traveling instructions for each and every location. But it didn't make sense for the travel department to keep up to date all those location informations, because of course the people who actually work on the location and update their sites anyway, they are the ones who know if some location destination information has been changing. So showing travel information from one site in another site, or this could be anything that you want to show between the sites. The point is that you have multiple sources, different sources to show certain type of information. So here we have all Meltco locations. As we can see, we have here plenty of shops, couple of logistics or warehouses that we have in this imaginary company of Meltco. And I've listed them here with the highlighted content. So showing only those shops and logistic centers. And then I have done the same thing with the P&B search. So looking quite similar. And let's get the page into edit mode to see what we have done here. So basically, again, hovering over the web part, you can see it's highlighted content. So basic out-of-the-box web part that SharePoint offers. And when I edit it, I have chosen the source. It's all sites in the hub, and I want to show pages, but you could show many different types of contents here as well. So documents, news, videos, images, events, even whatever. But in this case, we have pages. To filter this one out, I've used metadata, of course. I love metadata. I keep using it and make my customers to use it as well to make everyone's life easier and to be enabled to lift content from one place to another in SharePoint. Since this filtering section is a bit limited in SharePoint, we need to use managed properties. And to create those ones, we need to create these things called refinable strings or refinable dates. If you are not familiar with this technique, it's a whole another topic because there are a lot of complexities there and a lot of classic SharePoint and search administration you need to do. So we are not going to dive deep into that one today, unfortunately, but all I say here today is that you need to use those managed properties. And in this case, I have used refinable strings. And this particular refinable string we have configured to be 111, and that equals travel information. What that means basically is that each of our local sites, for example, in this case, Hyvinkää, this has some travel information, how to get there, some maps and other things. And in the page details, we have added page category travel information to this page. And this is the metadata I want to benefit from when I'm showing these pages in anywhere else in the intranet. So what I'm saying to this highlighted content web part is that show me all the pages in the hub that page category equals travel information. And here they are. And when a new location comes up, they create a travel information site for that one or page for that one and give the metadata of page category equals travel information, and that page will automatically pop up into my highlighted content web part here. So I don't need to do anything. All I need to do is to, make my content editors know that they need to use this metadata, because that's how we do it here. And the same thing is with the P&B search. I've added the search box here, so they can type free word information when they are looking for a certain location. And then I've added the filters as well. So if you want to filter out the results by country, you can do it here, but this is totally optional if you don't need this. And then the same thing, well, almost the same thing. It's a bit different with the PnP search results. So we have used SharePoint search and basically giving them the same command that we did for the highlighted content. So refinable string 111. So in other words, page category equals travel information. I've also narrowed the query a bit with the department ID. So this is basically meaning query only from the sites in this hub. There are a lot of articles out there in the community who are telling you how to do these queries and how to use the PnP search. So unfortunately, we don't have time today to go there. And then what I did also for these cards is that I reduced the amount of information because it showed a lot of tags and URLs and person who created this page and so on. So what I just wanted to show here is that the page name and the site name and the picture and that it's a SharePoint page. So I'm happy with that one. And the same thing with this one, PnP search. If there's a new page with the travel information tag, it will automatically show up here. And of course, since this is an example of comparing these two web parts, you probably would like to have only one of them in your page. But for the comparison purposes, I'm having them both here. Any questions about this one?
Nope, all good, Sari.
Good. Because we have only 13 minutes left and I have still 2 things that I want to show you. So, videos. I want to show videos from all around M365 in one place. Those of you who have been keeping up, you might know that videos nowadays in SharePoint and OneDrive are dealt like any other file types. So Words, PowerPoints, Excels, whatever. It's just MP4 basically, or another video file type that you can add into SharePoint, any document library in your OneDrive, wherever, and you can surface them anywhere the way you like. But there are a couple of new ways to show multiple videos in one certain place, and that is the playlist. So what I have done here is that for the ways of digital work, I have created a playlist on this site. So I went to the plus new button on a site that I want to create the playlist in and chosen the list and then scrolled to the playlist ready-made template that has the thumbnail of the video, that has the title of the video ready, it has the owner information ready. So basically the person who has uploaded that video to OneDrive or SharePoint, and then the duration of the video. And if I use the template, which I don't do now because I've already done that. So I created this M365 tips videos, and it should take me to the playlist view that looks like this. So a really nice looking playlist type of list. So here I can see all the videos in this playlist, and this is the actual video that I can have a look here directly on the page. And I can then move to the next video and have a look at that as well. Adding a new item, so basically a new video is easy. The only thing you need to be aware of is that if if the video is not on this site, and if you haven't uploaded the video on the SharePoint or OneDrive recently, you might have a bit difficulties to find that because it shows you the recent files. Okay, I've already added these files. And if it would be in any of the quick access listed sites here, it would be easy for me to find it. But if it's not any of these sites, I might have difficulties to dig it up. So make sure that the video is first uploaded to a certain location that you have access to, and then you can lift it easily by just adding a new item on the list. And here it is, first in my playlist. And the video player here shows all the information about the video. So the same thing that the modern stream offers for the videos as well. So the comments, the analytics, also about the video. So basically, if there is any description or so. You can create the same list directly from Microsoft Stream as well, but then you would need to choose the location where you actually create the list, because it will take you by default to your list app, and then you would need to choose the site where you actually create the list. So it might be easier to navigate directly to the site where you want to create it and click plus new list from there. This is the same, exactly the same thing that I just did on the site. So it's using Microsoft lists. In the modern stream, of course, you can see a list of videos, but the thing is that this is not organized in any way, and this is different since it's a personal view, so it's different for each and every users. So yeah, you might want to create a curated playlist on your site. So this is the way to do it. Any questions about this one?
Yes, Sari. So there's just another question in here. So someone has a question on the function of organizing news in the web part. So they're asking if they have a communication site where only part of the organization has access, does this mean that only those people will see the news in the web part in their intranet, and the other people who don't have access to the original location of the news won't see it? Can you confirm this, please?
Yes, that works exactly like that. So without access to the original source, they won't see the news in the wherever it is lifted with the organized news feature.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Sari.
Thanks. And now moving on to the last topic of the day. So I want to ensure that people are using the right brand images for our company. So very often your content editors may, for example, produce news in your intranet and they want to add some company pictures there. And of course, you want to make their life easier by offering them the easy way to embed or to add pictures to their news post in SharePoint, so that they don't need to go to a website or open some brand, I don't know, folder or logging into some branding place where you offer these images or anything. So what you can do here is to use, and of course the solution would be nice to show. So you need to use the organization assets libraries. If that is something that is not familiar to you, I pasted the link how you can create an organization asset library to the chat, and I trust that Laura will paste it to you guys as well. So we have marketing and brand and our brand guidelines here. But this can be done in any page that you have in SharePoint when you are adding a new image. So basically you can tell that, okay, when you ever need to use the brand images and logos in the intranet, please use the organization assets library. So this means when you add any new page that needs to be from your company, and no, you add a new image there, you use this one, your organization. And there can be multiple libraries or just one that you can find the images from. There can be folders within that library, so you can find the logos, you can find the brand images, and then you just select that one and add that to your content page, to your news post, wherever you need in SharePoint. And that organization assets library that I just showed there, it's a separate site. Let's see, I have it here, organization assets. So it's a separate site in SharePoint. It doesn't need to be linked to the intranet. Usually there are some specific people who keep it up to date, and everyone has read access here so they can see the pictures. So it's just a normal SharePoint site that has images library, and it has been registered to as an organization assets library, where I pasted the instructions how to do that. So everything that is added here will be visible in any site wherever you want to add an image web part or text web part with an image. Let's see here, insert image. It will always give you this panel, and there you will have your organization where you can find all the images libraries that are available there. So this way, your users don't need to find it from far away. It's easier, and they don't end up uploading these high-resolution brand images offered by your company to each and every site in your SharePoint intranet. Okay, any questions about that one or other topics? We still have, I believe, 3 minutes left. There were really good questions all along the way. Thank you for those already.
Yes, Sari, so there's just another question in here. So someone is asking, when you create the site for the assets, does it make a difference if it is a team site or a communication site?
I think it doesn't matter, but of course, communication site would be preferred. I could actually check that one out from the documentation because I'm not completely sure. Let's see. Select an existing site or create a new site for the organization access. So yeah, it can be a communication site, team site that is connected to M365 group, or modern team site that isn't connected. So yeah, it can be basically any SharePoint site, existing one or a new one.
Brilliant, Sari, thank you. So that seems to be all the questions in here. So I will just wrap up the Q&A session now. So again, thank you for a great presentation, Sari. It was really great, and a great few demos as well. So on behalf of the ESPC community, I want to extend a huge thank you to yourself for taking the time today to carry out the webinar. We really do appreciate it. So that is the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. That is it for today, folks. Thanks again to everyone for joining us today. Take care, and we hope that you'll join us again for more learning. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone, and take care.